The stray who chose Sunset Bay. There were 37 people in Sunset Bay, counting the fisherman who visited only when his wife was angry with him. There were also 6 cats, one very opinionated parrot, and most recently, a stray dog who wandered into everyone's hearts and business as if he owned the town. Mira West found him first. She was sweeping the front step of her tiny cafe, the Driftwood Cup, when something nudged the back of her leg. She had looked down expecting the usual cat with the usual complaints. Instead, she saw a dog the color of burnt sugar, medium-sized, with one floppy ear and one that stood straight up as if eavesdropping on heaven. "Well, hello there," Mira said. The dog plopped down, wagged his tail twice, and then, unexpectedly, placed a seashell at her feet. A perfect spiral shell, pearly and warm from the sun. "Oh, that's very polite of you," she said, confused. "But I don't serve seashells." The dog only wagged harder, and so naturally she fed him. That was Miriam's first mistake. Her second mistake was naming him. She called him Finn. Finn became a sensation in Sunset Bay. He greeted tourists at the pier. He inspected the postman's deliveries with great seriousness. He sat outside the bakery every morning because Mrs. Lally insisted on giving him a small croissant. He has a refined palate, she argued. But he always returned to Mira. Even if he spent the entire afternoon napping in the fisherman's boats or trotting down the beach chasing imaginary enemies, he always ended his day at the Driftwood Cup. "He's claimed you," Miss Lally said knowingly. "I don't mind," Mira said, scratching Finn behind the ears. But she did mind. Not because she disliked him, quite the opposite. She was terrified of becoming attached. Mira had moved to Sunset Bay to be left alone. She had spent her 20s in a big city, working a demanding job, moving fast, failing fast, loving fast, and burning out faster than any human should. After her mother passed away unexpectedly, Mira felt hollowed out. So she quit everything, took the small savings she had left, and opened a cafe in the quietest corner of the coast. Sunset Bay didn't ask questions, and Mira liked it that way, until Finn, who asked all the questions without words. The strange thing was, Finn always seemed to know when Mira needed him. When she had nightmares about her mother's hospital room, Finn slept cold against her bed. When she worked too long, he nudged her hand until she stopped. When she cried quietly after closing the cafe, he'd bring her something. Seashells, driftwood, a lost fisherman's glove, anything to make her smile. And Mira did smile in spite of herself. "He's not normal," said Isaac, the fisherman's son, one afternoon while drinking lemonade on her porch. "No dog in this town is normal," Mira said. "They all think they own the place." "Not like Finn," Isaac insisted. "He knows things." Mira watched Finn trot across the sand, chasing the waves with a joy so pure she felt it inside her ribs. Maybe Isaac was right. Finn understood her loneliness in a way Mira couldn't explain. Sunset Bay didn't get many storms, but one night the sky cracked wide open. Winds tore across the shore, rattling shutters and sending everyone indoors. Mira locked the cafe early and waited for Finn to scratch at the door. He didn't. She waited and waited. By 10 p.m., panic was crawling up her spine. She grabbed her coat and flashlight and headed into the store. "Finn!" she shouted, but the wind swallowed her voice whole. She checked the pier, the boats, the bakery's awning, the dunes. He was nowhere. And then she saw it. A faint glow on the far side of the beach, where the lighthouse ruins sat. The old structure had crumbled decades ago, and nobody went near it, especially not at night, especially not in a storm. But the light pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Mira ran. She found Finn standing inside the collapsed arch of the lighthouse wall. He wasn't frightened. He wasn't hiding. He was waiting. The light emanated from the sand beneath him, golden, warm, impossible. What? What is that? Mira whispered. Finn stepped aside. Mira knelt and brushed away the sand. Beneath it was a small wooden box, carved with spirals that looked like waves circling endlessly. Inside, a necklace, a thin chain with a pendant shaped like a tiny lighthouse. Her mother's lighthouse, the one she used to draw on napkins for Mira when she was little. Mira's breath caught. Her mother had always said, "If you're ever lost, follow the light." Tears blurred Mira's vision. "How did you find this?" she whispered. Finn nudged the box toward her, and Mira noticed something else. A small folded slip of paper tucked into the lid. With trembling fingers, she unfolded it. Her mother's handwriting. For Mira when she is ready to come home to herself. Mira pressed a hand to her mouth. She had sold her mother's old house before leaving the city. How had this necklace traveled across towns and years to end up here? And how had a stray dog found it buried beneath the ruins of a lighthouse whose light had gone out long before Mira was born? Finn watched her, eyes soft, patient, as if he understood every question in her heart. Mira sank to her knees beside him. "I was trying so hard to disappear," she whispered. "I thought if I slowed down, hid in a quiet place, I could stop feeling everything." She stroked Finn's head. "But you didn't let me." Finn pressed his forehead against her. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating them both in silver light. Mira realized then that she had not been healing in Sunset Bay. She had been waiting for permission to heal. Her mother's necklace, appearing out of nowhere, was the sign she didn't know she needed. And Finn. Finn was the messenger she hadn't wanted to acknowledge. The storm passed by dawn. Finn slept cold at Mira's feet while she brewed coffee and held the lighthouse pendant tightly in her hand. She felt different, softened somehow, unlocked. The cafe opened late that morning. When Mira flipped the sign, her regulars were already waiting outside, gossiping excitedly. "Did you hear? Something glowed at the lighthouse ruins." It was probably aliens. It was probably teens with lanterns. "It was probably your imagination," Mira said, stepping outside. "Come in, all of you." They laughed and shuffled in, filling the small room with warmth and chatter. Finn lounged by the counter like a king. "What are you going to do with him?" Isaac asked, scratching Finn's chin. Mira looked at the dog, the stray who had brought her gifts, comfort, trouble, and finally truth. "I think," she said slowly, "the real question is, what's he going to do with me?" Finn thumped his tail. A week passed, then two. Mira wore her mother's lighthouse pendant every day. She smiled more, laughed without flinching, started painting again, something she hadn't done since university. And Finn? He brought her fewer seashells, not because he cared less, but because he had something else in mind. One sunny morning, he trotted up to her with a piece of driftwood, scratched and chewed into a shape unmistakably like a house. "Are you trying to tell me something?" she asked. Finn barked once. Later that day, Mrs. Lally mentioned casually, "You know, Mira dear, the little cottage behind the dunes is still for sale. It's a cheap too." Mira stared at Finn. He stared right back. "You want me to settle here?" she asked him. A wag, two wags, a sneeze of excitement. Mira laughed. "All right," she said, "but only if you promise to keep choosing me." Finn placed a paw on her knee. "Deal." It wasn't until weeks later, After Mira bought the cottage, after the renovations began, after Finn unofficially adopted the entire town, that she discovered the final secret. Inside one of the cottage's old drawers, she found a faded photograph. Her mother, standing in front of the same cottage decades ago, and at her feet, a dog. A dog with burnt sugar fur, one floppy ear, one straight. Mira's heart stopped. It couldn't be. No dog lived that long. But the resemblance was perfect. Written on the back of the photo, Sunset Bay, my helper, my friend, the one who always finds what's lost. Mira pressed the photo to her chest. Finn padded over, nudged her leg, and rested his head on her lap. Who are you? She whispered into his fur. Finn only sighed contentedly, and Mira understood something then. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some miracles simply arrive when the heart is quiet enough to receive them. She kissed the top of his head. Thank you, she whispered, for choosing me. Finn thumped his tail once, soft, certain, forever. The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear next week's story.